But yeah.
Well, then, heading into the pick and ban phase with TeamNut to ban out first. We've been seeing a fair amount of Maiev bans. We've seen one Maiev today, and one, but I would argue potentially due to the Hanzo as opposed to the Maiev, but Maiev did okay.
Yeah. All right. So we're going once again to the Infernal Shrines. So far, we haven't seen any Volskai. We haven't seen any Towers of Doom today. Any Curse Hollow. 3 maps that have been completely ignored up to this point. I can't believe.
It is peculiar. The map pool appears to be very narrow, but once again, in our second rotation, that will very much change. It will just become narrow in a completely different area. As Alex Straza, you mentioned the priority might be going up, gets banned out.
If you don't want to pick it, if you want to catch your opponents off guard, because I feel like Alex Straza is probably one of the most practiced and most played support in China. If you want to make them step out of their comfort zone a little bit more, you just ban it away. Or they're going to first pick Malf now because they consider Malf to be the second high priority support in China. So remains to be seen. By the way, I want to pay close attention to those Nut jerseys, by the way. Do they all have the same names on there, like the Chinese characters? Are they always the same, or is it like individual? Because that could be the player names.
I checked that earlier because I thought it was player names, and no, they are individual characters as well.
Maybe it's the team name in Chinese.
Maybe.
Maybe it's TeamNut.
Possibly.
Or a sponsor. In that case, it would be amazing because we need more support and sponsors for those pro players in China.
Who made the jersey, for example.
Yeah, true.
Indeed. Well, we'll find out someday. I'll find a picture and try and translate it or something. But now, though, they're bringing out the Genji to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely true. So no prioritization onto the support this time. But the Genji is going to be picked here by TeamNut. I can't really fault them for that. But RPG, are they going to try the Medivh again? Are they going to try to go for a double support here as well? We've seen it today already. It didn't necessarily turn out as greatly. Medivh, to be honest, I don't want to see that again. I think maybe against TeamNut is going to work out, but in the previous game, it didn't look so good.
No, they didn't get stacked like at all. So potential issues were going for the Medivh. But now though, we're starting off with a very, very old style draft opening, but very aggressive by RPG in the Greymane Sonya. It's the kind of draft I would expect to see like latter end of 2016 kind of thing.
For sure, that's definitely true. Other heroes, of course, have kind of, overtaken the Greymane. He still works though. Like we've seen it times and times again that the unpredictable explosion damage of a Greymane, like if he has got all the cooldowns ready, he can really pop those squishies. Still better than most other heroes in his role can. The question is, can he get there? And that is oftentimes the big question. And also, can he get out of there? Because once he's committed, it's so hard as a Greymane to escape these days.
This is true, especially with all these CC and slows coming in with the Johanna and the Jaina coming in right away. So everyone gets grouped up. Jaina clears. Wonderful for the objective-based fighting. Jaina, though, a little bit risky in terms of objective fighting. If you compare it to someone like Kael'thas, which often happens, Jaina cleans up a fair amount of shit. Cleans up about the same effectiveness, but a bit slower. Because it takes usually 2 drops of Blizzard to really clean up a set of these Shrine minions.
Yeah, and Jaina, I think for the most part, is like the only mage China likes to play frequently. If you think about it, the current meta, I would say, is very friendly towards mages in general, right? We have Chromie being played a lot in other regions. We have a Gul'dan on certain maps, just a staple. Kael'thas, many plays it. Other people have tried it to pretty okay success. But in China, it's only the Jaina. And once the Jaina is picked away, I don't think they're willing to risk any other mages in there. So maybe a little bit of experimenting would be nice, especially with the Chromie, I feel, and the Gul'dan. They could do so much more.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Jaina with this particular draft, at least for the moment, due to the fact that she has physical armor. So I dig it at the moment, but we'll see. And I agree, other times there are definitely situations where any of these other mages might have been a little bit more efficient.
All right, what is left for the taking? We still have a Phoenix that for some reason made it through. probably one of the most impactful heroes up to this game.
Indeed, and it could fit potentially well into an RPG draft. They would need a slow, heavy tank. This could be someone like Muradin, Stitches, Diablo, etc.
Stitches, man. Ooh. Now you're up to something. I like it.
Stitches always finds a way. Yeah, I did that. I was speaking to the Heroes Lounge people at Mid-Season Brawl, and JPL picked Stitches, and every time he picked Stitches, I'd be like, I never bet against JPL Stitches, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not feeling this. I feel like they're gonna lose this one. Nope, JPL Stitches. It just wins. It just straight up wins. But we are seeing a slow-based tank potentially, and a support, not slow-based, but a little bit of damage. Once again, very burst-heavy lineup so far. Go for the throat, spear, stormbolt, Karazim in general. There's very much potential blow-up. I kind of dig it.
We've seen previously that Jaina struggled so hard when it came to like stacking up the ice block.
Yeah.
So if you don't have access to that ice block in time, Greymane, Karazim, Muradin, Sonya, they can all in some way, shape, or form jump onto you. They can chain their CCs very well together. So yeah, I like it. I like what RPG has. It's the aggressive style that Timeless likes to play with. And once again, Timeless most likely on that Muradin. Oh, never mind. Timeless is not an RPG. My mistake. But C just as good as a Muradin. So they really like this aggressive style, even without Timeless. I think it could work out.
You could be forgiven for that one. Timeless was an RPG literally a phase ago. We're finishing off with...
You see the Decker Keen again. There we go. Teams may have been saving him for a little later in this day.
I like it even less. There's far more burst this time. Johanna is pretty okay in terms of peeling, but she's alone. So if RPG just dive past or walk past even, then I think there's going to be problems.
Yeah.
So last damage dealer for RPG.
Oh!
More burst indeed. Yeah, I way prefer RPG's draft. They have all of Deckard's weaknesses. They have they should in theory lose the solo lane. Like Sonya should lose to Malthael, assuming she can't land the spear, which Malthael should be able to dodge around. But Shrine Clear now with that Kael'thas is pretty even.
Yep.
But team fights, this should be just pure devastation.
And I like it. We talked about the variety of mages being relatively low in China, but already here we see a glimmer of, just variation. We see something new. We see something fresh in here, and I just like it. And KT, although it hasn't really netted so much success for Chinese teams in the past, I think it's not because of the hero being underwhelming. It's more just China not being able to execute it properly. So if they can do it this time around, if KT stays safe, doesn't go convection, we can do this.
What are you going against convection, man? What's up with convection?
It's
my Hero League teammates say it's best.
Right? But then you don't have a talent until 20. Maybe not even then.
Also true. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading into our first game of this two-game series between RPG and TeamNut. We're going to Infernal Shrines.
Infernal Shrines it is. And on the left-hand side, we see for the second time in this first day of HGC China, RPG with Chicken on that Greymane. MJ is playing Karazim. Sa is on the Kael'thas. We see C on Muradin. And Wrong, last but not least, on the Sonya.
And on the right-hand side, newcomers to the league, it is TeamNut with No on Genji, FS on Johanna, Fei playing the Malthael, Oasis on Jaina, and Datui is playing the Deckard Cave.
Here we go. So Oasis is back on the Jaina already. We see Fear the Reaper at level 1 for Malthael. No mount movement speed, no on a pale horse this time. So that gives him both an initiation and an escape tool, because he basically, for a short period of time, gets movement speed and also loses collision, so he can walk through enemy heroes.
Easily the best talent in this situation. He's going to be up against a team that is, one, very rotation. It can be very gank friendly, which means they can just move up to him. Two, he's against a Sonya, who wants to land a skill shot, aka the spear. So being able to have that movement speed at any point to be able to retreat in lane, or even just try to dodge and back up from Sonya to gain a couple extra drain lives. Sorry, that's Leoric's ability, but the extra healing, then he's going to be able to utilize that to great effect.
Absolutely true. And once again, we see the Sapphire coming in. So just like in the last game, we saw Deckard Cain participate. The additional movement speed slow can be so devastating if used in time with a Horadric Cube. Now C is scouting out the rotation and slowing it down by dismounting several people. And no TeamNut, they're just using Genji and his superior mobility here to soak the minions under the towers, and the rest of his team is going to take that mercenary camp. Jaina is so good at taking early mercenary camps simply because of the big AoE damage she can unfold.
Speaking of AoE damage, Saw assisting on that Kael'thas meets No, but No immediately dashing back to the rest of his team. Just trading blows for the moment, no one going hyper-aggressive. You can see the health bars, though, at the top. But Malthael and Sonya both trading pretty evenly at the moment. That likely means that Malthael either ate a couple minion hits or did eat a Sonya spear at some point.
Right, what we're going to see here, this could be the first point of contention here. No, C is having enough of it. He's like, I shall take those impalers. We're going to deal about those with the Kael'thas anyways, because they're wave clear all of a sudden simply because of that Kael'thas pick. Looks mighty good. Mana addict by the way, picked for Kael'thas, so first step to victory already achieved.
And level 4 being held for Kael'thas at the moment. We have seen Chinese teams a couple times go for that cooldown reduction on the stone as opposed to the ranged. So we'll see if that theme continues. For now, though, Malthael not able to land the damage, but a great distraction from No buying them time. It's just going to be the Netherwind. Nice and simple. Standard extra range coming in for Kael'thas.
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason for Kael'thas to hide his level 4 talent. I think it was just probably like debating, maybe having a discussion with other teammates. But yeah, it's a good choice. It's the additional range, mana refund if you land it on enemy heroes. Definitely the standard go-to, and I like it. For Genji, once again, we see the stacking shurikens. No love for an E build altogether up to this point.
Yeah, haven't seen a single one all day today, I believe. Actually, I think we've seen one in like one of the earlier series. But either way, Fei is getting absolutely dominated by the teleport speed boost. He gets out, and that's why that is a wonderful talent to have for exactly that situation when you have a team that's incredibly good at ganking.
Absolutely, and now we know why Fei is one of these Malthael players that you can never underestimate. It's one of his most played, most successful heroes. He picks up all the potions he can chug and tries to stay in this. Johanna rallying the minions together, but both teams now having super good Shrine Cleaver, actually. 14 to 12 is the current count, 15-13. Now, looks like one person is going to get locked down. Genji escapes. No is having none of it.
Oh, triangles. MJ gets taken out. That scroll of ceiling was absolutely insane. Everyone just dived for Genji thinking, oh cool, a free Genji. Nope, you got baited into triangles and Jada damage, and that is how you turn around a fighter's nuts. Push forward, another potion to protect No from the damage. But this is going to be the Punisher going straight over the TeamNut.
And you can hear this Diablo potion sounds all the time because Atuli is dropping them whenever his team is needing them. They're also picking them up very nicely. It's one thing to spread the potions, but it's another story to actually pick them up as well without, you know, running into the wrong direction, without exposing yourself. So kudos to TeamNut for actually going in with a strong early game showing. But as we said multiple times already today, the first Punisher is not going to make a whole lot of a difference here. So they're going to basically clean that up and try to even go for a reinitiation.
FS in trouble. He's getting lots to drink, but he's so thirsty. He's so thirsty, but he gets out. He is quenched as we see him able to port back to base as No puts pressure onto Sar.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Johanna definitely owes a drink or two in the friendly bar encounter with Deckard because those potions were amazing right in front of Johanna's walk and movement paths. And RPG must have felt very frustrated about this.
35 stacks on shurikens already. Nicely done there by the Genji. And we have 2 stacks of Wisdom's Duelist. That will take a little bit to stack up. We're seeing, I believe it's called the Sunfire Enhancement coming in for Kael'thas, which this one is the extra burst, the auto-attack spell damage, basically. Every time he...
Interesting. I'm not sure if it's affected by the blind by Johanna, but I think it is. So it's
spell damage, but I believe it's still an auto attack. So
yeah, you need the auto attack to land, and then it triggers magic damage instead of physical. So you're still affected by the Johanna blind. So still going for that build despite the blinds available. I guess you're not going to get hit by the blind too often for it to make a difference, but still an interesting detail worth highlighting.
We're seeing No once again putting pressure onto the other side. Living Bomb does not spread this time. Saar making the most of that little extra crit. It's basically Bronze Talons is the way he's playing it right now to just punish No every time.
Exactly. Bronze Talons, speaking of which, I would definitely not mind to see a little bit more Chromie action, but now we see Fei Yi zapping and draining the life of minions and Wrong alike. Now, TeamNut, they look to go to that one team fight, but still, look at the experience, Tetra. It's not really that much of a lead. Now, C in trouble, gets caught by the entire team of TeamNut. And speaking of experience, TeamNut made a pretty important step towards that level 10.
Yeah, good rotations by TeamNut so far. Here we see RPG, though, trying to get XP elsewhere to give themselves a catch-up opportunity by grabbing the tower in the bot lane. Pulling back in time, though, they don't commit to the second one. It would be too risky, and as you can see by the health bar of Saar, they almost certainly would have died.
Yeah, and that is the power of this build that Genji went for. He went for the Shuriken build, and that, of course, allows you to get pretty devastating, poking damage with your Shurikens in over the course of time. Whereas with the other build, with an E-centric build, you would be committed to going in and out very fast and then get the resets.
So, next objective spawning up in the top lane. With the rest of TeamNut just already doing their Fallen Shaman. It's being mirrored by RPG, but with less members. But their members are Greymon and Sonya, so it equates to about the same. In fact, probably a bit more. Either way, with heroics available for both teams, they're both going to look to probably fight this with 5 members to see if we can have our first full team fight of the game.
Yeah, no forts have fallen yet, no structural damage being done at all. Both teams almost dead even. This couldn't be any closer. It really speaks for the fact that both teams are facing each other on an equal skill level. So much damage onto the Drana. The 7-sided is good, being absorbed by Genji though.
The sleep is okay, but not great. But it's enough to lock down C so that No can get the damage, and No gets wrecked, but gets taken out as well. Saar is attempting to 1v2, not even under his tower. He's just dealing the damage, eats the Blizzard, and will almost certainly die. Down goes the Cube, killing him off, but clutch potion there actually by a 2e, keeping Oasis alive.
Yeah, and that is the power of Decker Kane. As long as he's standing close to an ally, he's going to drop those potions. But look at the AoE damage coming in here. Malthael, Jaina, if you land those combos and the AoE damage, it's going to melt your opponents away in front of your eyes. And although Karzim was able to get that one constellation kill, it was not enough. The Punisher is going to go over to the side of TeamNut. They're actually going to stall it out as much as possible so that they can regroup as a unit and take back map control. But man, I gotta say I'm digging it. I think the Nuts are having a really good time here up to this point with their draft. So much damage, and RPG is just walking into it every single time.
Agreed. This is what I had concerns about for Nut earlier. When they fall behind, they seem to really struggle, but they always seem to get the first couple kills. In this case, 8-1. Now they're ahead. They're actually getting stuff done. They're actually making value out of the objective.
Yeah, and we just see those individual mistakes on the side of RPG a lot, actually, and they just can't afford to go for any more of those. KT falls victim to the last right, so we haven't actually seen any stacks coming in through up to this point, but now he definitely accumulated one. And, without KT, without Greymane, there is no damage left to deal with this Punisher, and quite sad story for RPG, but I think they're going to lose this keep.
It's going to be close. Minion wave's on the way. There's 2 left. Sleep to buy them some time. This is not for a fight. They're trying to burn down the keep, but they're out of time. Sonya has arrived, and they're going to try and get the counter kill. RPG going very deep. Dragon Blade is popped, looking for Wrong here. Wrong is gone as they take a crack at C, and they get him as well. The percentage damage from Malthael. They don't get the keep in the end, but 2 kills, not bad.
Yeah, absolutely. They're expanding this experience lead even more, and I'm not sure, Tetra, but this Deckard is putting in a lot of work. Once again, we saw the Stay a While and Listen actually just zoning out enemies and preventing them from interrupting the sieging process. And here goes the keep. Down it goes. Catapults unlocked. And I'm not sure, but the Kalthus seems a little unimpactful up to this point. 13 marks his first power spec, though. He's going for the Ignition. That means every Flame Strike right now is going to apply a stack of Living Bomb.
Isn't that Pyromania?
Oh, sorry, my mistake. That is the cooldown reduction on the Living Bombs. You're right. Ignition comes at 60.
Ignition is 60.
It's 60.
So it's all good. And then Flamethrower 20 for Flame Strike build. Boom! Genji! Whoa! Deflect value as in comes Johanna. It's counterattack time. The sleep is interrupted, but in comes Nut for the counterattack.
No way.
Full team wipe.
You gotta be kidding me. By the way, that was the most glorious ragdoll on the Karazim I've ever seen. It looked absolutely brilliant. But the counter engage, the counter fight by TeamNut was just crazy efficient. Every ability hit multiple members by RPG. At this point, it's either TeamNut just playing out of their minds or RPG just having the worst positioning we've seen yet today. Because they are getting hit by every ability all the time.
RPG, once again, I was feeling good about them, but it appears they have fallen back into the original thing of just being incredibly inconsistent in terms of who they're against. But for now, we see TeamNut. They are looking the best they have so far in this entire league. We're going to see Johanna porting back here as the rest of TeamNut. They're pretty much full. Looks like Jada is complete on her quest, so finally has that ice block. And pretty quickly as well, third quickest ahead of KTY.
And I think it's safe to say that China right now, with all the Genji plays we've seen today by Hope, now of course by TeamNuts as well, no in that case on the Genji, there is certainly no lack, no shortage of good Genji players because we've seen resets and combos going left and right all the time now today. And I think Genji at this point might have a much higher impact than in any other region right now.
It's certainly helping. Genji and Phoenix, those two especially, have been really impactful so far. As we see RPG, they're going to try and grab Fallen Shaman Campus. They are behind in terms of talents. Looks like they're going to try and sacrifice this Punisher in exchange for a lot of XP for the potential fight back at a later date, potentially nearer the 20 mark.
16 is of the essence here for RPG. Without it, they cannot hope to win a team fight anytime soon. So here's what they're doing. They took some mercenaries to distract the enemies. They're trying to get some value in the top lane, but guess what? If your team or if your enemy team is trying to do exactly that, what you do as a team in the lead is you're going to go for a decisive 4 or 5-man push, and you're going to pave the way for the objective. Basically getting rid of wall pieces and towers so you have vision behind the Punisher leap, and then you can follow up with a nice CC chain. Although Chicken is probably going to get this forward, netting them a little bit of extra experience, I'm not sure if they can defend that keep.
Gonna be pretty rough, but it's possible if they can, especially if they can pull to mid, as mid still even has a fort. Sonya needs to get down there. Greymane is porting. Sonya's gonna walk. Okay, it's a little risky. I guess it's fine. Come through the base. So here comes Muradin. Punisher jumping onto him. Karazim getting CC'd, gets the nice dash and the cleanse as well with the cleansing touch as the Punisher gets distracted. Looks like they might try and dive past to at least dissuade TeamNut from pushing in any further. Sonya begins working on that Punisher as everyone else just sieges TeamNut.
Positioning by RPG is really nice right now. They have a nice concave. They're not grouped up. They're not spreading. They're spreading well so they don't take AoE damage. It makes it really hard for TeamNut to land some of those Jaina spells, some of the Malthael combos. And now it looks like RPG is trying to make an aggressive move. They're trying to keep the enemies at bay, but taking... Now, here comes the clump. They need to be careful. But down and back they go.
Good dwarf toss, pulling back. Last rites is enough. They get Jaina. Karazim is not able to save Kael'thas as well. That beautiful last rites followed up by the Ring of Frost into the Blizzard. This is still a risky core attempt though. The health bars are pretty high thanks to the Deckard Cain, but Greymane's pretty good at executing people. They need to start making a play though. RPG are waiting a very long time here.
They can't wait that long though. Although the core damage is not the greatest for TeamNut, they still have Jaina and they're waiting so long. It's all in or nothing and they just lose game number 1 just like that. Without Sonya, without Kael'thas, there was not enough damage for them to defend this. And TeamNut, they get their first victory in this relatively young HGC history.
I really don't like that RPG just sort of chose to lose that game at the end there. Just like, oh, we could move in and maybe have a smallest chance of defending, or we could just stand back and let them kill the core 3v5, which is possible but unlikely.
Yeah. It looked like they were saying GG in team comms and they weren't even trying. And I think when 3 members are still alive, this early, they weren't even level 20 yet. It was actually relatively early on, so damage numbers aren't that high yet. You could have certainly tried. Is it the first sign of tilt? I don't know. The first sign of resignation? But yeah, I don't know. TeamNut just too powerful this time around. And RPG, I really hope they're not going to fall back into the slump of never recovering, not getting a single win in the entire season.
Possibly. They're currently on that path. They're 0-3 at the moment. I do like that ending there by TeamNut. Able to push in very aggressively with the keep already down.